Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We have some patchy fog starting to develop, especially in our southern counties. I'll show you what it will look like as you head out the door.
Bracing for higher prices, North Carolinians are stocking up as we prepare for the impact of President Trump's tariffs.
We're going to see prices raised. I just bought double the amount of coffee I normally would.
The action Trump and leaders of Canada and Mexico are taking today.
And help for Helene victims, what Governor Josh Stein will unveil today to provide more funding to people in western North Carolina. More money on the way there, much needed as well. Here it is, 4:30 on our Monday, getting your week started. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Laura Levine, in for Renee Chu. We know that we've experienced some type of whiplash here with the temperatures here in North Carolina. I think we're kind of used to it, but it's kind of confusing what season we're in. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gartner with us now. Elizabeth, I know we're also tracking some low visibility right now.
Yeah, we do have some fog that's likely to continue to develop down to the south. Clinton's at a mile, Fayetteville's at 2 miles. Typically when we're talking about fog, it's a quarter of a mile. So we still have a ways to go before it's a real issue. But take a look here, even in Wake County. You can see this blanket of low cloud cover or fog that's sitting here. You can see the lights kind of shining up through it. Makes kind of a neat shot there. So we're going to see some of that this morning, especially from, say, Raleigh southward. 41 is our temperature, so it's chilly out there. The wind is calm, and that's allowing that fog to develop. Otherwise, besides the fog, we're seeing clear skies across the rest of the viewing area. 32 is our chilly start there in Roxborough, but 42 in Rocky Mount and Goldsboro. It's 35 in Southern Pine. So it's cold out there, but temperatures will start to warm later this afternoon. I expect the fog to dissipate before lunchtime and a nice warm afternoon with temperatures close to 70 degrees. We'll talk more about that weather roller coaster coming up.
Starting at midnight, tariffs on goods from Mexico, Canada, and China could take effect. They will have an impact on both consumers and industry workers in North Carolina. WRAL's Kelsey Comfy joins us live from the NC Automobile Dealer Association in Raleigh. And Kelsey, folks will be bracing for this financial impact.
Yes, Jeff, one of the ways that we could see the impacts of these tariffs here in North Carolina is in the auto industry. So the North Carolina Association of Automobile Dealers and other groups, they are bracing for this impact. President Trump's orders of putting a 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada could have some major effects. NC State economist Mike Walden estimates that this could lead to an increase in inflation. He says the tariffs could cause those countries to retaliate and put tariffs on the products we sell them. Walden says North Carolina exports up to $13 billion a year to Canada and Mexico.
That would mean that those auto parts that we make, that a lot of which go to Mexico for assembly, would have a tax on it, a tariff on it. We also sell pharmaceuticals, North Carolina does, to both countries, chemicals, etc.
So for more information about how these tariffs could impact the prices that you pay, head to our website, WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Good morning, I'm Chris Lovingood here in the WRAL Live Center. We've been kind of monitoring what's going on in Canada to see how they're reacting to this. And this is an article from their broadcaster, CBC. And notice this is a sign inside of a store that Ontario runs, and it says, "We are no longer selling liquor from the USA." Effective Tuesday, February 4th, obviously that being tomorrow. And just to give you a look at one of the stores that's in the process of doing this, kind of getting prepared for this in Ontario, is this right here. Now, we do know that President Trump is set to meet with leaders of Mexico and Canada today to try to talk about this a little bit more. But we do know that from Ontario's Premier Doug Ford that the ban again starts tomorrow and that the board essentially will in Canada that controls alcohol will start the removal of this of American liquors from different stores there. So we'll watch closely to see how that affects us here in America and to see what other businesses will be pulling American products from Canada.
Yes, a lot to watch, Chris. Thank you. Today, Governor Josh Stein is expected to unveil his budget proposal for Helene recovery in western North Carolina. WRAL's Brett Neese joins us live from the legislative building. Brett, we know Josh Stein will be in Henderson County this morning to unveil this plan and lay out some more details for us.
Hey, Laura, good morning. Yeah, since this storm happened, lawmakers have really been divided on how to fund the recovery and rebuilding process out there in western North Carolina. newly elected Governor Josh Stein, he's hoping to change that. But there really are so many homes that are still have so much damage, and there's just such widespread devastation out there in so many communities that remain in western North Carolina. Stein is expected to announce his proposed budget Monday to fund some of these recovery efforts. A Sparta resident was volunteering in the area last week. She saw firsthand just how much work still needs to be done.
Over in western North Carolina, around Asheville and Swannanoa and Black Mountain, people are still having to live in tents. Folks are trying to get them campers, RVs, heated tents, anything that can be done.
She says this really is not a partisan issue. She hopes more recovery funding comes soon. Governor Stein is expected to make that budget announcement at 11 a.m. We'll be watching for it. Live in Raleigh, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
Brett, thank you. And WRAL will be covering Stein's announcement online and on the air. Tune into our newscast from 4 to 7:30 this evening for the full breakdown of what's included in his Helene recovery plan.
Goldsboro police say a man is in critical condition after he was shot while trying to break into a home. Officers responded to a shooting call just after 5:30 last night at a home on West Oak Street. Right at the same time, a man who had been shot arrived at UNC Health Wayne. Police determined that man was shot while trying to break into a home. No one else was hurt. Police say the man knew at least one of the people in the house. Officers say the shooting was an act of self-defense.
The Wake County Sheriff's Office is asking for information about a shooting that killed a man. Investigators say 38-year-old Sean Rawls was shot in the driver's seat of a car. He was found on Stag Trail near Wendell on Saturday. Video here from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker shows two cars that appear to have crashed into each other. It's not clear at this time which car he was driving or whether the driver of the other car was involved in the shooting. Deputies believe this was an isolated incident and say there is no threat to the public. They are asking anyone with information about the shooting to call investigators.
Today, the Army Corps of Engineers will start clearing the wreckage from the mid-air collision near D.C.'s Reagan National Airport. The Coast Guard will help in that effort. It will start with the removal of the remnants of the jet from the Potomac River. After that, they'll switch their focus to the remnants of the Black Hawk helicopter. The salvage operations come as authorities continue to search for victims. Families of the victims visited the crash site yesterday. 67 people are thought to be dead. So far, 55 bodies have been identified.
Thousands of people gathered in cities across the country to protest mass deportations. Protesters rallied from Georgia to California this weekend, calling for immigration reform. Many marchers waved Mexican and American flags, carried banners, and shouted slogans to voice their frustrations in response to President Trump's immigration policies.
Today will be Michael Easley Jr.'s last day as U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of North Carolina. He announced last week he was stepping down after more than 3 years in that role. Easley called it an honor to serve, saying, "Together we help drive down violent crime, turbocharged white-collar prosecutions, protected civil rights, and stemmed the tide of narcotics into our communities." His words there. Easley was nominated in 2021 by President Joe Biden. President Trump will nominate his successor.
Today, the Wake County Board of Commissioners will vote to fill the seat vacated by Matt Calabria. The board will vote on whether to appoint Sophia Jackson to the seat. Calabria resigned to become the head of Governor Josh Stein's Western North Carolina Recovery Office. If the board approves Jackson, she would fill the remainder of Calabria's term, which ends in December 2026. The board meets at 5 this evening.
Today, we'll learn more about the future of the Durham Convention Center. Board of County Commissioners meets today to review the findings of a feasibility study. The study suggests Durham needs to completely rebuild the convention center in order to be competitive with other cities for events. That could also include a new on-site hotel. The board's work session starts at 9 o'clock this morning.
The time now is 4:39. Standing ovation for firefighters, the honor during the Grammy Awards.
And blockbuster NBA trade here. How fans are reacting to the late night deal that saw the Dallas Mavericks, Luka Doncic, and the LA Lakers star Anthony Davis traded teams.
And this is a live look over North Hills this morning. We're tracking areas of fog right now, where we're seeing those trouble spots and when it'll clear up.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
442, taking a live look at Wilson this morning. It is foggy. It is still, too. The whirligigs are just sitting there, not moving. That's one of the reasons that we're seeing some fog. More moisture in the atmosphere. Our temperatures cooled down, and now we're seeing some fog, especially in our eastern and southern counties. That's where you'll run into it more likely. It's also chilly out there. Some 30s on the map. 37 in Lewisburg, 35 in Southern Pines. It's 39 in Irwin right now as well. Some 40s out there, too. So we're going to range from mid-30s to low 40s as you're heading out the door. So, you know, in my book, that's coat weather to walk the dogs. Maybe you don't need to bundle up, so much, but it is chilly out there. We're going to see a beautiful afternoon. We'll see some sunshine and high temperatures near 70, but we're about to go on a serious roller coaster ride. I'll show you coming up.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth will travel to the southern border today. This will be his first trip since taking office. Hegseth will meet with military members of Joint Task Force North, who are working to crack down on illegal immigration along the U.S. and Mexico border. The Pentagon is also preparing to send about 1,000 troops to help Border Patrol agents there. Hegseth says he will call upon reservists, National Guardsmen, and active duty personnel to help with the mission.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio's first overseas trip as a diplomat started with a visit to the Panama Canal. He met with Panama's president and foreign minister. President Donald Trump says the U.S. needs to retake control of the canal because of what he says is a threat from China's influence and control. Panama's president says his country's sovereignty over the canal is not up for discussion.
Ukraine's president is calling for more air defenses following the latest barrage of Russian strikes across the country. The city of Poltava took the worst hit here. A residential building partly collapsed. More than 20 people were pulled from the rubble. First responders say 14 people are dead, including 2 children.
Police in Fayetteville are looking for a man they say is armed and dangerous. Take a look at your screen here. This is 21-year-old Khalil Johnson. Police have a warrant for his arrest, charging him with first-degree murder. He's accused of killing Amon McGaugan last Wednesday. Anyone with any information about Johnson is asked to call police.
Protecting some of North Carolina's most vulnerable children.
So children aren't spending 5, 6, 7, 8 years in foster care, often moving home to home to home. It's just not okay, because in the end, we end up with really damaged people.
Tonight at 6, WRAL Investigates sits down with a former licensed foster parent who feels the system is broken. She's also part of a federal lawsuit to fix it. The effort to protect our most vulnerable children tonight at 6.
A memorial ride was held in the streets of Greensboro. Motorcycles, cars, and Jeeps gathered in a powerful show of support for Officer Michael Horan yesterday morning. A gunman shot and killed Horan last year while he responded to a call at a Food Lion. During the ride, drivers purchased a memorial sticker for the vehicles, with all proceeds going directly to the Horan's family.
The Global Crisis Response nonprofit, co-founded by actor Sean Penn, held a ribbon-cutting ceremony in Buncombe County. It happened at the Allen Campos Mobile Home Park in Swannanoa. It was this weekend, and the mobile homes there are for families who were displaced by Helene. The event welcomed the first 3 families moving into the homes that have been completed. There are a total of 21 homes.
Firefighters from Los Angeles County were recognized at the Grammy Awards. They received a standing ovation as they made their way to the stage to introduce the final award of the night. And truly deserving, Fire Chief Anthony Marone thanked the Recording Academy for inviting the first responders to the ceremony. He also thanked firefighters who came from around the world to help the Los Angeles area amid the devastating fires.
I would like to take this opportunity to recognize and thank first responders who came from near and far to battle this wildfire siege. In the midst of unprecedented fire conditions, their selfless acts of courage and commitment were nothing short of inspiring.
Host Trevor Noah announced Grammys viewers contributed $7 million to Los Angeles wildfire relief during the show.
Sports world, particularly basketball fans, are in shock after waking up to the NBA's biggest stars traded for each other. The LA Lakers acquired Luka Doncic from the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Anthony Davis. This happened over the weekend. Folks woke up to this eyes wide open. Doncic is 25 years old, considered one of the best European players, and Davis is a 10-time All-Star. Fans in Dallas protested the trade, some calling it the worst trade in NBA history. Time will tell.
NC State and UNC faced off for college hockey supremacy in the Triangle. They played for the Governor's Cup at the Lenovo Center last night. UNC had won the last two installments of the annual game. This year, though, the Ice Pack were able to get back on top. They beat UNC 4-1 to claim the trophy. Well, we're kicking off our Monday here with some chilly temperatures, but we're also monitoring and keeping an eye out for that low visibility. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has it all for us. Elizabeth, I know a lot to watch right now.
Right here is our tall tower camera, and it's in East Wake County. And as you look westward, you can see this blanket of clouds here. So looking off into the distance, this direction is downtown Raleigh, and it looks a little more clear there. So it looks like as you go south and east from the Triangle area, you're going to end up with a better chance for fog. 41 is the temperature in the Triangle, but we have a wide range. Our dew point's down to 36, and we're looking at temperatures anywhere from the mid-30s to low 40s. Visibility in the north, not as bad. 10-mile visibility means that there's not a lot of cloud cover to deal with. Goldsboro is checking in at 3/4 of a mile, so that's going to be some low cloud cover. We head down to the south, half a mile visibility in Fayetteville, 3/4 in Clinton, and a mile in Irwin. So those are locations that we'll be watching for. On Futurecast this morning, we're going to see some patchy cloud cover. Watch how it kind of comes and goes. There's 6 o'clock. It seems like it's starting to dissipate a little bit and then kind of builds back. And then finally, once we get to lunchtime, we're clear and we'll be sunny for the rest of the afternoon and nice and mild. Donna Richardson took this picture of some low clouds there in Wendell. We love seeing your photos. So go to WRAL.com/report it and send us what's happening in your backyard. It's a chilly 32 in Roxborough, 35 in Southern Pines. Elsewhere, for the most part, we're looking at low to mid 40s. So cold enough for a jacket this morning. But this afternoon, check out these temperatures. 69 in Raleigh and Durham and 70 in Fayetteville. So a real nice day. Tomorrow, even warmer, close to record highs. Our highs will be in the low to mid 70s for tomorrow. But then we're going to have the strangest thing that happens. We're going to see temperatures really taking a dive on Wednesday. We go from 74 to 55 to 74. Why is that? We have what we call a wedge that develops, and we have high pressure that pushes in cool air up against the mountains, and it gets stuck there. And so that's what happens on Wednesday. It's going to make our temperatures really dive. We'll see that dip, and of course, all that cool air moving in. And along that warm front that's associated with this, we may see a few showers. Some of those could be Wednesday night into Thursday, and then again Thursday night. And we're going to walk through that with Futurecast coming up in just a little bit. But yeah, kind of a wild 7-day forecast. 74 Tuesday, 74 Thursday, 59 Saturday, 74 on Sunday. So hold on.
That's a February spring run.
Oh,
right
yes.
There, no doubt. This is a baby food recall. We'll tell you about the risk posed by these Gerber teething sticks.
And top dog at the box office, the newest record for a DreamWorks animated film.
A new top dog pounced on the #1 spot at the box office. Rick Damigella has the top 5 countdown.
I never flew U.S. Marshal before. Why is he all chained up?
Last week's #1 movie, Flight Risk, went from 1st to 5th place with $5.6 million. One of Them Days slid from 3rd to 4th with $6 million, while Mufasa the Lion King dropped from 2nd to 3rd with $6.1 million.
Just relax. Remember to smile and act happy.
The horror comedy Companion debuted in 2nd place on ticket sales of $9.5 million.
I'm sorry to say, Mr. Cobb, that your head is just no good anymore.
Bummer! That makes Dogman the new top dog at the box office. The animated adventure, starring the voice of Pete Davidson as a canine cop, ran off with an estimated $36 million. This marks the 3rd straight #1 debut for a DreamWorks animated film, following on the heels of Kung Fu Panda 4 and the Oscar-nominated The Wild Robot. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Industry Watcher Deadline reports Dogman now boasts the 2nd highest debut for an animated movie, opening in January following Kung Fu Panda 3. That opened with almost $42 million in 2016.
Schools are closed and people are being asked to avoid large indoor gatherings on the iconic Greek island of Santorini. The tourist destination has been hit by 200 earthquakes since Friday. The most powerful so far was a 4.6 magnitude quake. Experts say the quakes are not linked to volcanic activity.
Cold temperatures in January didn't stop more than a dozen commercial fishing crews from getting out on the water to find lost fishing gear. This is part of a month-long cleanup project. Every year since 2014, the North Carolina Coastal Federation, in partnership with North Carolina Division of Marine Fisheries, has been hiring commercial fishing crews to go out and help find and remove lost crab pots. The Lost Fishing Gear Recovery Project has ended in several parts of the state, but it'll begin again in March in the southeastern stretch of coastal waters.
All right, heads up, parents. Gerber is now recalling teething sticks because they are a potential choking hazard. Listen to this. The company says the recall affects its edible teething sticks called Soothe and Chew. The recall is only for the strawberry, apple, and banana flavor. The company says it received a customer complaint about choking and one report of a baby going to the emergency room because of the product. If you have these in your pantry, do not use them and contact the store for a refund. Your time now is 4:55. Bracing for tariffs. We'll take a look at stock futures this morning as tariffs against Mexico, Canada, and China are set to take effect.
And the medical jet crash. New information we have learned about the people who died and those still in the hospital this morning.